Hello there. Good morning. I just finished my run. It was very good. Now I'm just walking, trying to cool down, and I'm going to try and find a place where I can go and stretch a little bit and do some kicks. So come and join me. So this morning I started with some light warm-up. I like to do these kinds of footwork exercises when I'm just jumping, and then I just do some kicks. I always go through my basic kicking session. It's just something that worked for me. So I do the usual up-chegi, dolio-chegi, yop-chegi, and so on and so on. I think it's something that you can do no matter where you are. And you can progress with your own speed. So you can start first in low section, then go to mid section, and then to high section. Then I went on and did some more footwork. I'm just basically keeping my body moving after a very good running session. And then I went on and did some more kicking. Again, these are the highlights of the exercises that I do every day. And I'm sorry about the lights. I was not seeing that the camera had an angle and the lights were coming in, so I'm sorry. It's gonna be better in the next scene, so don't worry about it. I get to fix it. Again, I like to do these combination kicks too, like a hook kick and then a roundhouse kick, and I always do the kicks on both sides, both the left side and the right side. I also like to combine some punching with a kick or two kicks depending on the moves, and keep on moving. So I'm not staying in one place, I'm using the whole area and I'm moving around and doing different kinds of combination techniques. Low section kick, high punch, mid-section kick, mid-section punch, everything that I can just think of. I just do it, and I really like doing these shadow boxing, shadow kicking. It got a little bit colder, so I had to put on my sweater, and then I'm going to do some more exercises. I'm doing some crescent kicks here from inside to outside, and then I'm going to do them from outside to inside. I like to put out my hand. That is my target, and then I can aim at it. After that, I went on and practiced some basic movements. These are basic moves that you have to do in Taekwondo. They are part of the pattern practice as well, but I just like to go through some of them, make sure that my stances are correct, the height of the punch is correct, the blocking sections are correct, and just keep going forward and then keep going backward. This is also a very good combination move, and it requires you to pay attention to your movements and keep on going forward and then backward. Luckily, I had the whole place for myself, so I had more than enough room to practice these movements. After that, I went on and practiced a little bit more difficult techniques. These are the ones that can be found in the patterns. So I just took out certain techniques from the patterns and I practiced those moves. And I try to correct myself by making sure that the stances are correct, the technique is correct, the height is correct, and then paying attention to the movements and keep practicing and doing it again and again until I feel like it's good. After that, I went on and did some more patterns. These are the actual pattern practices that I do every day. I go through a couple patterns each day, both the old ones and the new ones, just to make sure I don't forget them. I felt really good about the practice, so I went on and did some tornado kicks, jumping kicks, turning kicks, just played around basically. I just try to feel how am I feeling and just kicking around basically. I really like doing the tornado kicks. I feel really free when I'm doing them, and I just feel like I'm flying, and it's really good feeling. After that, I felt really inspired to go back and do some more basic pattern practices. So that's what this session was about. It was a very long session, and luckily there were not many people around, so I could film a lot. And I just trying to share the highlights from this session. I'm hoping that you can get inspired and do some of these moves and practice by yourself as well. I know it's difficult, and of course it's better to practice in a dojang with others, but there are certain things that you have to and must practice by yourself in order to get better and better. For lunch, I made myself a tomato mozzarella salad with rucola, and I made 2 eggs. Hello everyone. So, running is done, and I went and practiced the Yongye tour. This is a pattern after the 4th dan, the Yongye, Uchi, and Munmu. So I am going to focus on learning those patterns this week. That's the goal. So yesterday I was practicing the Yongye tool, but I did not understand some of the turns. So I looked up some YouTube videos, seeing how others do it, so I might understand it. And there's no good tutorial, just people presenting it. So I was just trying to piece it together through those videos, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of it. So I was practicing because there are so many like turns and stuff that you have seen. I'm trying to make sure that I know the steps, what is what. So I'm going to do some more research on the Yongye tool at home, pick up the encyclopedia and check what is the move, which way, what part of the body am I using the forearm to block, or all that. It's very important. So yeah, that's today's goal, is to learn a little bit more about the Yongye tool, and yeah, just basically practicing it and feeling how it feels. I know that all patterns have their own essence, so once you figure out and put together the steps, it will just make sense. So for me, I imagine learning a pattern this way. If you ever had a necklace with some pearls on it or some beads, and you have the, what is this called? The string, right? You have the string, and then you have pieces of the pearl or the bead to put on. So you are putting it together, and then at the end, you're gonna make a necklace. This is just how I imagine it. So I have the string. That means I have a good understanding of the pattern. I understand that the Yongye tool, for example, is very symmetrical, and that's good. Like, that helps. It's not like the Gebek tool, for example, that's like all different steps. It's like the Chanji, but it's just pretty good because it's the same moves to both sides, which is very helpful. So I understand it. I have the string, and then I am looking at certain moves in a pattern that repeat. So now that I know that which moves repeat, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beats that I put together, and then again put it together. So I know, okay, this is to the left, this is to the right. Okay, what is the next set of movements? The next set of movements is when like this movement starts. It goes like this. So that's the next set, and I'm like, okay, that's the next 5 moves, or how many 5 beats in my mind. And then I put it together. Okay, and the same thing to the other side. Okay, put it together, and then comes all this interesting blocking technique, right? So I was having a little difficulty of figuring out where am I turning, what am I doing. So yeah, that helps to see other people perform it and how it's supposed to look like. So yeah, that's very good. So then I put it together, and at the end I'm trying to make the pearl or bead necklace as one thing. So yeah, that's just how I learn the patterns and how I like to teach it. Yeah, there's a lot of people going outside, running and whatnot, which is pretty cool. I'm just doing some stretches after the exercise. I think it's pretty good to go out in this weather, but still when I'm running I like to have a scarf, and I'm using my sunglasses because the sun, when it's out, it's very bright, so I won't see where I'm running. And yeah, I like this weather. It's very crisp. It's not as warm as it before, obviously, but there's something about this autumn weather with the yellow leaves and the blue sky. It's just very pretty. I'm enjoying it. Oh great, the whole place is mine. Okay, I'm happy when this happens, so I can use the whole area and practice, and I don't have to be worried about filming anybody else, so this is great. On this day I started practicing with the AM tool. To me this is one of the most difficult patterns because the moves are very beautiful and they come after each other very nicely. There are many difficult techniques in it, so I wanted to go through and make sure that I practice them again and again, because some of these are very difficult, including this turning kick, which you have to actually hold, and I find this very difficult to hold it at the right angle and with the right technique, and then keep going and do a side kick. So that was one of the most difficult kicks, and also there are 2 more kicks like this after each other, which is very difficult. So I just practiced these kicks, and I was practicing my accuracy and control, which is very important when you're doing the patterns. I'm just trying to show you how much work and effort and practice goes into the patterns to make sure that the technique is immaculate, it's how it is supposed to be. And there are many difficult techniques in all the patterns, so I like to pick out the ones that I'm not so confident at, and I feel that I have to practice this more and more, and I just keep practicing it again and again until I get it right. Then I put it together back again in motion in a full pattern, because of course it is different when you're just practicing a section from the pattern. The whole idea is that the whole pattern should be harmonious, so everything should work out all together. I really like that part of the pattern when I really feel like I know the steps and I can just practice different techniques in it to make sure I can perfect them. So I finished for today. As you saw in the video, I mostly practiced the patterns and basic movements in the patterns. I especially try to concentrate on the AM tool today because I know that there is turning kicks that you have to hold is very difficult, so I want to practice that. And as you can see, I try to make it that I just practice the turning kick. So from the move, that's something to make sure that you have muscle memory and that you can get it back. So I remember when I was doing it, and suddenly my muscles were like, oh yeah, this is the way I have to do it. Now it's time to go home and take a shower and just get something to eat. Morning. It's cold again. It rained last night again. They managed to clean up most of the debris here, all the branches and stuff, so that's good. Yeah, it's cold. I have to wear a scarf, probably put my hoodie up and go for my run. Oh, that was tough. I think I made a record, personal record. I was running for 30 minutes straight. I'm really tired now, trying to keep being in motion. So I went to practice. I did a little bit, but then too many people showed up, so I couldn't film. But I did the usual kicking and a little bit of stretching as well. I'm gonna do some more stretching when I get home. Good morning. Today is very cold. It's going to rain, I'm pretty sure, because it's all cloudy and no sunshine. So the goal for today is to do my workout and running quickly and don't get rained on. So yeah, let's do it. On this day, I started with my usual warm-up session. I like to do these warming up techniques and stretching after the running session. I like to just go out, walk, and do my running, and then do a really good stretching session because it helps my body to relax. As I said it before, once I didn't do the stretching after the running, and that was not good. So pay attention, everybody. If you do a running session or any type of workout, make sure that you stretch afterwards. Don't skip it. It's very, very important. So after that, I went on and did some more pattern practice. I practiced the AM tool, amongst other things. Again, just trying to make sure that the tricky part of the pattern I can still remember and still make sure that my body remembers it. So this is the kind of muscle memory that I said, that if you practice the patterns so many times over a long period of time, you cannot really forget it. Like somehow your body will remember it. Obviously there are things that you will forget about patterns if you don't practice it regularly. These are some moves and which angle you are doing the block or the kick, or what blocking tool are you using, what height. Of course, these can be corrected later. So again, I'm just trying to make sure that I go through some of the patterns every day, and that keeps me engaged and I won't forget them. I have a lot of patterns that I have to know, and I want to make sure that I practice them. It helps me a lot to practice them every day, keeps me engaged, and of course, it's part of learning a new pattern that you still have to go back to the older ones, because you can easily forget certain things about the patterns, but if you go through them, then you won't. Here I am doing the juche tool. This is one of the most difficult patterns. I practiced it so many times and I still have things in it that I really want to master a lot better. You know, jump higher, do the kick out much better, keep the leg out longer. So that was one of the things I practiced on this day. Make sure that when I do the side kick, kick out slowly and then turn around with a kick. It's one of the most difficult things. I have to practice it a lot. It was a very nice and sunny day. It was still very cold, so after my running session, I try to stay in motion and do my stretching to make sure that my muscles feel good. So that's always something that I like to do. Keep being in motion, make sure that your muscles are warmed up, your joints too, and get to the practice itself. Always make sure that you leave enough time for yourself to do a good warm-up session and stretching before any type of heavy exercise. And make sure you have a stretching session after that. I also like to just hold on to a bar like this and do some leg swings. The point here is that it helps your balance and you can lift your leg up higher. I'm doing different ways. I'm doing a back kick, a side kick, and a front kick with this. And then I went on and practiced some patterns. Here I am doing the sabeomnim tool. The sabeomnim tool has a very interesting flow to it. The techniques are very unique and they come after each other in a sequence that is not symmetric. So you have to remember each technique because there is not symmetrical motion. So like you do it to the right side and you do the exact same things on the left side. And there is this part in it that I didn't feel very confident with, so I just went on and practiced. This is when you jump up, turn around, and come down with a block. So I just kept on going because this is part of the sabeomnim tool that I wanted to make sure that I can improve on. And I wanted to make sure that the jump and turn is very natural and not forced, and it's very confident when I land on the ground. So again, this is just to show you that when you practice something, you have to keep going. Don't stop just because it didn't work out in the first or the second or the third try. Just keep going, keep at it, and pay attention to yourself. Obviously, if you have someone who can look at you and help with the pattern, that's very, very good, and I hope that you do. But if you are experienced enough, you can correct the movements and make sure that you practice those things that you know that you have to improve on. On this day, I had some chicken with onions and new potatoes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for my channel for more videos. See you in the next one. Taekwon!